Air traffic controllers across the country were supposed to get paid today. Instead, they're getting this. Take a look at pay stubs showing $0 deposited to their bank accounts. The first full paycheck they've missed since the government shutdown began 28 days ago.
Now, as some airports are dealing with these staffing shortages, some travelers worry their own flights could be less safe.
I know that there was at least one crash out of here not too long ago, and there was an issue with the air traffic controllers then. And now that we have the government shutdown, I don't think that that's made it any better.
CNN's Pete Muntean is at Reagan National Airport, right outside of Washington, D.C. And Pete, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just spoke a short time ago. What's he saying about these staffing issues?
Not much new rhetoric from Trump Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy about a resolution to this government shutdown and a resolution to getting controllers paid again as they now go 28 days without pay. You mentioned that first $0 paycheck they just received. No wonder that controllers are calling out sick in some areas. Remember, all it takes is a handful of controllers to call out sick and to lead to this outside impact, and we have seen the staffing alerts pop up today from the Federal Aviation Administration in places that there are typically not staffing problems. Newark is a place where there are typically staffing problems. That is on the list today, but Atlanta is now emerging as a trouble spot. Also, air traffic control facilities in Denver, the Denver Center, responsible for tens of thousands of square miles of airspace over sort of the flyover area of the country, if you'll pardon the pun. And then also the Denver Control Tower. That's a huge hub for United Airlines, and that will have a big impact as the day goes on. We will see, though, thankfully, the delays and cancellations for today remain relatively low. This is what controllers are doing. They're really sort of taking this literally into their own hands here at Reagan National Airport and about 20 airports across the country. They're handing out these pamphlets. You know, it's top of mind for travelers. Now they're forcing travelers to really learn about this. They're at the curbside zone at airports here at O'Hare, at LAX, at Miami, at Tampa, handing out these pamphlets telling folks to call their representatives to end the government shutdown now. We will see if it has any real impact. I want you to listen now to air traffic controller Peter Lefevre. He is a controller at the Dulles International Airport Control Tower in Virginia. He says this is a double whammy because his wife is also a federal employee, also not getting paid. Listen.
My colleagues and I, we just don't know how long this is going to go. So right now, when you don't know when your next check is going to come, you have to make tough choices. You have to make sure that you can provide for the essentials, babysitting, gas, that type of thing. But there's not an indefinite stream of savings, and it's tough. You just don't know when the next check is coming.
Everybody's situation is a little bit different, Pete tells me. Also, remember that there have been about 275 staffing shortages since this government shutdown began at air traffic control facilities across the country. That's about 4 times larger than during the same period a year ago.
And Pete, this is already a pretty stressful job. It has to be tough doing such a difficult gig while also not getting paid.
You have to consider the stress that controllers are already under, working mandatory 6-day weeks of 10-hour shifts in some spots. It's a job that's so stressful there is a mandatory retirement age of 56 and a half, and there is already a huge shortage of air traffic controllers nationwide. We're still short about 1,800 controllers in the U.S. That's why that mandatory overtime policy is in place. So it's something even acknowledged today by Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He says this makes it even harder for the Trump administration to try and get new recruits in the door. Remember, the Air Traffic Control Training Academy in Oklahoma City right now essentially shuttered also because of this government shutdown. This is going to have lasting impacts beyond just the delays and cancellations we're seeing right now.
Pete Muntean, live for us at Reagan National. Thank you so much for the update, Pete.